Hey, 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 it's me, your guide of light, helping you make it through the night. And last night I was like, I need a change. And I won't lie, last night was supposed to be day 5. Didn't make it to day 5. Too much going on. And I was like, you know what? I keep giving the advice if you want the cheesecake, eat the cheesecake. I wanted the freaking cheesecake. And in the end, I was like, I'm not even going to feel bad about it. And then I cut my hair off. I was in the bathroom and decided, you know what? I need to shed my old skin because I love having short hair. And I dated somebody that said, I don't like short hair. Well, somebody out there does. That's how I look at it, right? And I'm tired of doing for other people so that they'll stay in my life. That's almost like begging, like, hey, whatever you want me to do, when we need to be bold enough to choose for ourselves what makes us happy. And after I did it, even after I responded, like, somebody is out there that will still love me if I have short hair. It was empowering. I'm not going to lie. It helped me regain a little bit more of who I am, which is a strong, independent woman. And I have been ostracized for this for so long, that, oh, strong, independent woman that don't need no help. It's not that I don't need help. We all need help. But it's when people make those comments, like just repeatedly, no, I don't need your help, right? I don't need somebody that's going to sit there and hit at me with backhanded compliments and not even encouraging or seeing the struggle, right? It makes no sense. So I'm telling you, if you have something calling you to make a change, do what makes you happy. If you lose anybody because of this, like, they didn't need to be in your life anyways. Because a lot of times there's a lesson we need to learn. And that lesson is pulling back our power, making our own choices, deciding who gets to be in our life rather than them choosing to be in our life. One thing I've told anybody I've dated, because they worry about me cheating. And it's not because I go around and flirt with people or I'm shady or I'm doing anything that makes them think that I would cheat on them, but it's because they have trust issues. And I think a lot of us have trust issues. But what I've told every one of them is I want you in my life. I don't need you in my life. If I've made the choice for you to be in my life, then don't sit there and pick at me to make me feel like I'm doing something that is inappropriate. Because when it comes down to it, those insecurities that someone else has eventually pushes them out of the way, because I don't tolerate it. And that goes back to having standards, having boundaries, and asking for the equal respect in the situation. So, like I said, if you're feeling the urge to make a change that's beneficial to you, please do. Come back and share it, Let me know what you were bold enough to do, because I'm telling you, those scissors last night kept going, hey, Sheena, hey, Sheena. And at first I was like, no. And then I was like, screw it. I'm going to do it. Screw it. I'm going to do it. To put that on a shirt, but I'm sure somebody will beat me to it. But anyways, we have to understand that in order to be able to move forward, you want to keep moving forward, right? Not backwards. If you keep doing this little number, you keep going backwards. Eventually, hey, I ran into a wall, right? There's no way to keep going backwards because you can't go in the past. Even if you live in the past, you can't change it. There's nothing you can fix back there that will make everything here okay. You can learn from back there and say, oh, I should have handled that a little bit differently. And then approach the situation different now so you can start progressing further. Can't live in the future too much either, because when you're residing in those spaces, and I know I'm not the only one saying it, you're not in the present moment. If you're not in the present moment, you're letting life pass you by, because you get one shot in this lifetime. So when we're living it in different thoughts, different areas of our lives that are not now, then we're losing now. And now is always changing. It's like the tick of a clock. There's something, always a new opportunity, always a new choice, always a different action or reaction to what it is that you're going through. But if you can remember, do it for you, then you'll start seeing that growth and abundance coming into your life, because not everybody's trying to be on your side. Not everybody is happy for you. It's even like I had to point out to my kids today. Y'all argue at each other. You pick at each other. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that you're jealous and insecure. So you find the person that's doing something that you can't do or you're not willing to try to do, and you pick on them. And then they pick on you, and it turns into a battle. Try doing this with 19 kids, and next week I'll have 21. But to have kids, they're all very strong-minded individuals. I see this within every single one of them. They all have the potential to be a leader, but they're so busy battling each other that they're losing that potential because they're comparing themselves or they're trying to tear someone else down. We all need to learn the lesson that if you're tearing other people down to get forward, it's not something that's going to be long lasting. It's also not going to be something that's fruitful for you, because you're getting there almost by stepping on the head of your enemy to get there. It's a dishonest way. And oddly, that's one of the laws of the universe. Step on your enemies to get there. But there's an equality that still has to be in balance, that we have to treat each other with respect. So it's one thing to outwit somebody, but it's another thing to dupe somebody. You know, where you go around and you start spreading rumors, or you're telling lies, or you're stealing somebody else's success. You're taking their work and making it your own. And this is something that goes on a lot, especially with social media or any kind of media. We have the ability to look at something and go, oh, if I go put that out, maybe they'll see me before they see them. And it's more of that competition. You know, that there's people that are acting like there's something they're not. They're putting on a front. But eventually, like I've said several times, what happens in the dark will always come to light. Those that reside in the darkness and function that way don't necessarily see that like that, because they get away with it. And they'll get away with it for as long as they can. But eventually, once it is seen that it's not true, all trust is lost. You can so easily lose everything you've gained overnight, just like you can so easily gain everything you dreamt of overnight. You can lose the lack of the mindset of lack. You can lose the mindset of not deserving. You can lose the mindset of feeling powerless and turn it around. And when you do, all of a sudden you're like, yeah, it's all starting to come to me now. And it's a matter of doing what we feel we want to do. And last night I realized I'm over here stressing myself out 10 times worse than I was by putting a barrier on me. And it's not that I was sitting there thinking all week, oh my God, I want to drink. Oh my God, I want to drink. It's just when it came to me, I told myself, no, you made a goal. And then I told myself, you know what? Don't constrain yourself so much. Because it's still a matter of moderation. It's still a matter of not needing to over control the situation, because I'm told sometimes I have control issues. I think we all do, especially when it comes to ourselves. Now, I understand that dealing with hardcore drugs is often, there does have to be a goal. There does have to be a mindset, because those things pull at you a lot harder. I've never known a drug addict that can just be like, oh, just today. There's a difference between people that dabble with things, you know, they'll give it a try here and there, compared to somebody who relies on it. And when you rely on it, that's when the wake-up call has to happen. And if it's not a wake-up call that you give yourself, that's when Spirit sits you down and makes your life hard and says, okay, we got to clean up this mess. You know, we've got to move you forward. We've got to help you heal from your pain. And even last night I was thinking, I dealt with anorexia long before I dealt with drug problems. So it was something in my mindset of perfection. And it was always, it has to be this way. It has to be perfect. And even an architect does not look for perfection. They look for quality. They look for a strong foundation. So me as a human having to realize, oh, okay, let go of perfection. And that's always been the hardest thing, because especially who I was married to, was a perfectionist. They made all of these rules for us, myself, my kids, everyone around us, but they did not abide by those own rules. And it was very hypocritical. But when those rules were broken or those boundaries were crossed that were unachievable is when the abuse would occur. So it was almost like setting us up for failure just to hurt us. And a lot of people do these things. A lot of people make people feel like they're failures because they make these unrealistic goals. And for myself, like I said, that was a personal choice for myself. Doesn't mean I'm going to be like, all right, every day now, I don't have to worry about what I said. I still have my goal in mind. I just decided no point in stressing myself out because life is already stressful. There's times where we do need to unwind. There's times where we do need to let loose and enjoy ourselves with our friends. And honestly, I was thinking about live streaming last night so everyone could see what I do. All I did was dance around this room and sing and really enjoy my night. And that is actually a way of getting out that energy, of letting out the negative vibes. You can do that through cleaning. You can do that through singing. You can do that through dancing. You can do it through even meditating and just washing the dishes while you're doing it. Zone in on what you're doing. There's all these ways that we can release the energy that's blocking us. But a lot of us feel guilty when we make certain choices. And I woke up like, man, and then I had to tell myself, no, ma'am, we're not doing this. You're not going to feel bad about making a choice that you made because it is what it is. Because I think a lot of us, and I did this for years, the choice I made would eat at me. And I would get to a point where I felt guilty, I felt responsible, and then going later on and talking to those people, and I'm talking 10 years later, I could have said, I'm sorry for doing that. I remember doing that with my sister, and she was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. You're still holding on to that? I'm so sorry. And that was me holding on to situations where I wanted to beat myself up because I wasn't perfect in the matter. I wanted to tear myself down because I thought I destroyed somebody else who never even realized anything that went on. And it was something so tiny. It wasn't even anything worth destroying myself over. And it's the same with not making the personal choice for myself to cut my hair or to wear makeup. Because for years I didn't wear makeup because my ex did not like it. To not be revealing in any way. Or, just not allowing my light to shine, who I am. Shoot, I even have homemade clothes that I wear. And I've dated people that are like, you're going to wear that? Like, where did you buy it? And when they find out that I made it, they're like, ugh. And they turn their nose up and I'm like, okay, you're not for me. Like, I'm a free spirit. I'm an individual that likes to wear my art. I'm an individual that likes to let the world see. Because when you can let the world see what you are willing to do, then all of a sudden they're like, hey, I can do that. I don't feel so insecure anymore. And we have to help each other with this. And working with these kids is teaching me so many lessons that the world needs to remember. Even today I had to tell them, here's another rule I was raised with. Do not say anything. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. My mother taught me this. And you have to consider, is it going to help or hurt? And think about the words that are going to come out of your mouth before they come out of your mouth. If you're tearing someone down, mind your own business. If you're inspiring them or building them up, open your mouth. We live in a very backwards world. And I see because it is fueled by competition. That competition is created within corporations. That competition has been here since basically big business took over the government. I don't know if anyone even realizes that's the case. Stuffing money in politicians' pockets to make sure they can have their own rules and regulations for their company. Things that will benefit them. And it sucks because this mentality is put out into society. Now, we as regular, just individual people that don't own businesses, we are affected in a massive way because these corporations are allowed to charge this, and you don't really have to go below and be fair. And that's any market, the housing market, the workforce, corporations, stock market, whatever it is. Everything that has to do with our lives is governed outside of us, which is insane. And we do it to each other. Like, I don't like short hair, so I never cut my hair. That's someone else governing my life. But when it boils down to it, the power comes from governing yourself. So when you can realize, bring the power back to you, and you start doing that by making your own choices. I remember one time Walmart, I boycotted Walmart, I didn't go there for almost 2 years because they wouldn't take back a book that hadn't even been opened. And I was like, there's no way I could have read it. But their policy that was not even listed to be seen with their list of things that are not refundable, all of a sudden they added a book to that. And it became to the point where I'm like, you make so much money. Like, all you got to do is put it back on the shelf. And instead of arguing with them, I said, you know what, that's fine. I'll keep the book that I already have a copy of. Because my ex had bought me the book. Anyways, doesn't matter. It boils down to, sometimes you take that hit and then you just say, that's fine. You made your choice. And I knew at the time making the choice didn't matter. There's billions of people because Walmart's everywhere. And these billions of people shop at Walmart. So, no, I didn't necessarily make a change in the world, but I changed something for myself that gave me back the ability to feel empowered, that I got to make the choice. So I want you to realize you have the choice to make the choice. It's funny because I don't think a lot of us are taught this, that you are the captain of your ship, your vessel, your GPS, everything about you. You get to decide. And when we get in these relationships, a lot of times we feel like we don't have a choice anymore. But a lot of that is we don't compromise anymore. It takes communication, commitment, compromise, love, compassion, understanding, good listener, the ability to see what you're putting in the world. Because a lot of these kids, they're oblivious to their own behavior. And I don't know if it's that they're actually oblivious or that's how they get away with being troublesome. I won't say bad because they don't choose to be bad. They're being guided and molded to be that way through neglect, misdirection, whatever it is. Parents passing down ignorance. Parents not passing down anything, leaving their children ignorant. But when you don't raise your young, you are leaving them to be susceptible to a world of issues. Like at the time that I was dealing with anorexia and smoking cigarettes, I was looking at supermodels, runway models, magazines, watching the old movies where everybody smoked and they looked so classy. But that's how Hollywood portrayed it to us at one point. But then as I got older, I realized that's insane. But Hollywood does mold us. It presents characters that we want to be like, that we admire. There's a certain family that has been on the air so long, and I've never even watched one episode of their shows because I think they're stupid. I think they're shallow. I think they mislead the population in a good direction. They keep them from going in a good direction. They're leading people astray. But they are one of the most popular families that still have a TV series about them. The only way that that would go away is if people would stop feeding into it. But that just proves that people are addicted to drama, addicted to chaos, addicted to gossip. Useless, fruitless things. So at what point do we realize, oh wow, I'm wasting my life? Not even your time, your life. By simply not making choices to benefit yourself. Because all you've got is right now. So I encourage you once again, pull back your power. Do this by making the choice yourself, not with biased or unsolicited advice from what you feel inside. Because what you feel inside is what's driving you. It's your fuel. for your vessel. Don't use someone else's fuel. And don't give away all your fuel to everyone else, because they're not necessarily going to help fill up your tank when yours is empty. So I'm going to leave it on that. Hopefully some helpful information. Sending you peace, love, and light. Bye-bye.